Hello besties, today we are doing a Tumbler tutorial using neon micas and double-sided adhesive sheets. But before then, let me welcome you to our YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us under Misfit Makers and also click that subscribe button so you can be notified of any new content. And make sure to check out our website and our Patreon. Okay, let's get started. I'm using a 32-ounce plump from the Steel Magnolia. This is a sublimation tumbler. And I'm also using a template here. It's a tanagram from Etsy, and I split it in half. The adhesive sheets that I'm using are from the Glitter Guy. They are the Glitter Guy's tacky tape, but you can use whatever you would prefer. So I already have mine cut here, and I cut them in the settings washi sheet, low pressure on my Cricut, but everybody's machine is a little temperamental, so play around with the settings. Okay, so like I said, I had a tanagram, but since this is a really big cup, I want to kind of split it up and make it like a tanagram with a twist. So there's going to be a space in the center. So I am going to apply both of my templates separate. Since it's a tanagram in half, I'm going to apply it with one piece first, then the second. As you see here, I leave a little tab of sticky until I line it up, and then I slowly roll it onto my cup. That way both ends line up. As you know, a tanagram has to line up in the back where they meet, or else the lines will not meet. They'll be kind of crooked, so keep that in mind. Next, I'm going to apply my second piece of my template. I also make sure to leave a little bit of exposed tumbler on the top and bottom. I just want to get a very good seal from when I go to epoxy it. So after I roll it on there and it's nice and adhered, you can go ahead and get started on the template. Also, make sure your tumbler is white before you apply your templates. You want to make sure you have a nice white base. Okay, so I am using Micas, a combination of Micas from the Glitter Guy and some from Backfist. These are all matte Micas in neon color. So they're not going to have a shimmer. They're going to be matte. Okay, this is probably the hardest part of the whole tumbler. Figuring out what pattern you want to do it. Because some people don't want their colors touching. They want a certain pattern. Also, if you're doing a tanagram, you got to decide, do you want the arrows going up? Do you want them going down? Do you not even want arrows? Do you want just little pieces? So a lot of decisions need to be made before you start with your micas. So after you made those decisions, you see me here putting on the micas using a little makeup brush. Eyeshadow brushes work amazing. That's what I'm using. You want to make sure they're nice and fluffy, clean, and dry. So I got questions and they asked me, is it better to start with the light colors or the dark colors? If it was glitter, I would start with my lighter colors. But being micas, I don't think that makes a difference. Whatever you do, you got to be very, very careful. Micas are so messy and they smudge. Even if your whole piece is covered, you still can smudge it into the other color. So work very slowly and do not carry too much product on your brush. Also, do not use your finger to clean off anything because you will smudge it and you will smear it onto your other ones. So if you happen to get a little bit of mica on another color, blow it off. Blow it off. Do not smudge it. Do not wipe it off. Blow it off because you will smudge it if you touch it at all. So those are my biggest tips. Be very careful. Do not use too much products and work really, really slowly. If you get micas on the non-template part, you can always go back and clean it off with some alcohol and like a little paper towel. So anyway, the bottom part is done. Now for the top. You will notice that I made a mistake, but then I just rolled with it because at this point I had already applied my micas and I wasn't going to change it. For one, my arrows started in the wrong place. See how the little template on the top has like two little broken arrows? Yeah, I did it. I skipped a row and did it all wrong. But at the end of the day, it looks great. I'm probably the only one that's gonna notice unless I point it out. But anyway, just be careful with your template. Remember, that is the hardest part of this whole thing. And plus, keeping everything clean. Also, something else that I learned during this process, don't use a cardstock paper like I am down there because it just smears. Use a paper towel. Put a paper towel down. When I did my second one on live, a paper towel is so much better because it like soaks up the extra mica and it doesn't smear everywhere. It's okay if you make little boo-boos and it smears or it smudges. It's not a big deal. The vinyl striping can cover some of your errors, or also really you can't really see them. You could be strategic as to where you place your decals. Okay, so after you are done, you want to go ahead and epoxy it. I did one coat of epoxy using Fast Set from CCDIY, and as you see, I added a little bit of glitter additive to make it all sparkle. Remember, this mica is matte. It doesn't sparkle at all, so adding that little glitter additive made a big difference. Also, it kept me from having to glitter the center. So I just added glitter to the whole thing. Okay, so after your epoxies cure, here I have some vinyl striping. I decided I did not want to add vinyl to my each individual line. I want my tanagram to be more of a background instead of like the statement piece, although it's pretty neon, pretty out there. So anyway, I didn't add vinyl lines there. I only added to the top and bottom. So the next hardest part is deciding what decals to use. These are all UV-DTFs from swearykim.com. You can find all these decals there. I love them. They're so vibrant. They go beautifully on any background. I decided on these two decals and then I changed my mind. You'll see. I can't decide. See, I'm like, too many options. Okay, with UV-DTFs, you guys already know they come in a carrier sheet with a protection sheet. You want to place it on there, remove the backing, put it on there, and then remove the carrier. You gotta go really, really slow when it comes to peeling this off. It's very, very tacky. You don't wanna pull up any of your epoxy. Okay, like I said, I skipped the vinyl lines for the actual tangram shapes, but I made sure to add some in the top and the bottom just to kind of like really finish it off and look it nice and clean. If you want to add vinyl striping to all your little pieces of tangram, you can absolutely do so. I just didn't think it was necessary. I wanted it to be a background and super bright in your face. Okay, the other thing I added was these little daisies. These are from Element Sheets, also from the UV-DTFs from Sweary Kim. Here you can place them anywhere. Use these strategically. Sometimes I had some harsh like lines, I covered them. Also, if I had smudges, I covered them with the flour, things like that. See how I changed my mind on the decal? I ended up really liking this one, so I put two big decals on each side because I love these with the sayings, and so I just had to have them. So here it is with all the decals. With UV-DTFs, if you're going to epoxy over them, you need to quick coat it or else your epoxy will repel. As you see here, a little goes a long way. You can do it all over your cup, but for sure over the decals. This will prevent any repelling. After this dries, then I put a couple more coats of epoxy from CCDIY, and then she was done. Look how pretty it is. I am obsessed with it. I love the bright neons. You guys already know that neons are my jam, and this is just to die for. I hope you were inspired to make your own tumbler using Micas and double-sided adhesive sheets. I can't wait to see what you make. Thank you so much for all your support. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next time.